If you're just joining us, thank you so much. It is great to have you with us. It's Takeoff Tuesday. It is February 26th, and there is still time for great successes in February. Don't let the calendar kid you. It's not gone. The successes are still here, and it is what we're going to do with it. And we've got a great person to train us this morning. This is Bill Predebon. Talk about following one of the best. He is someone that has had great life experience. He has had experience as an entrepreneur, as a student, as an applicator, and putting his education to work. He is a marketer. He is involved in real estate, in marketing, in team building. He is a trainer in the Arizona area, and we're so fortunate to have him with us on Tuesday mornings. And Bill, how are you today?
Good morning, Ron. How are we doing, buddy?
Fantastically.
You hear me okay?
We can hear you great. I'm going to make you the host right now and turn the video on if that's good for you.
Sounds good to me. Where did I go? Let's see.
Let's see. Not seen anything yet. Hey, there we are. Good morning, Bill.
Right on, man. How are we?
Fantastic.
Perfect. Well, all right, Ron. And thanks, as always, for kicking this off, getting us started, hosting this call, sharing the events with us, and making us all feel at home. Your energy this morning was fantastic. I appreciate it, brother. That's cool. Let's see. I'll put the chat up here. Awesome morning. Hi, Chuck. All right. That's exactly what we're going to do today, Ron. I appreciate it. Your intro was perfect. A lot of times, like yesterday, Michael had the opportunity to share with you guys any questions and thoughts that people were having as they came in. So I'm going to do the same thing here as I try to always do. It's not just a training, but it's also a mastermind. It's an opportunity, in my opinion, for anybody out on the call that wants to, ask questions. Or ask questions is always we're not in school, so it's not a question thing, but, has a topic they want to talk about. And good morning, Brittany. And, maybe has something they're working on or something they're working through, whether it's marketing or pertains to the topic or not. It's still available for you to a platform, I think, where you've got a nation of marketers and business owners trying to help each other out. With that, we're only at 51. I think yesterday when I got on the call, we were at 75. So maybe Michael's got a little something over me. But if you guys want to reach out to some folks and bring them on, that would be great. No one left behind, as he says. No AMA is left behind. So reach out to your team and remind them that we're on this call. I think it's going to be a great call. I always try to bring as much value as I possibly can to y'all. So cool. With that, I got a couple things I want to go over first. Thanks again, Ron, for all you do, for putting this thing together. It's just volunteers like yourself and everybody else on this call that volunteers your time across the country. It's just awesome, and it makes Renatus different. It makes Renatus work, and it makes your guests impressed with Renatus and the opportunity. So, hi, Teresa. I don't know how to say that. That's a cool name, Taese. Anyway, hopefully most of you were on the webinar last night. There was pretty cool announcements that were made by Bob in regards to nationals. So, and I was thinking about this last night, and nationals is a pretty good time, and the obvious reason to go to nationals is you're going to learn. You're going to learn a little bit more about your business, about the business of marketing Renatus, and you're going to learn a little bit about, what the top income earners in the company, including Bob Slander himself, do in their Renatus marketing business and how they built a business, built a team, and so on and so forth. So that's number one. there's nothing new. There's no secret sauce or anything like that, but it's the way they develop and continually massage the four money-making activities, right? So, and how they also embrace the four core concepts of Renatus that Michael and Christian talk about all the time, and your leaders talk about all the time. So you're going to see that in a new light. You're going to see that in a new perspective, and one that works, obviously, for the top income earners in the company. So, as well as the CEO. And then in addition, of course, Bob brings in some special guests and speakers that really bring a lot of value to the 3-day event. And one of those is iOS. iOS is going to be there this year. And they're there every year since we've been engaged with them. Now, here's the cool thing. All right, it's kind of cool and it's kind of not cool, in my opinion. And a lot of people, you guys, we get a little pissed off about being sold something else or having something offered to us and whatever. Sometimes it's too much, sometimes it's the wrong time, whatever it is. But if things aren't being offered and presented in a way that makes sense, people can't help each other, right? So Bob, by having somebody offer the opportunity to get a part of iOS, it's an opportunity for you to grow your business and enhance your business, right? And do better in your real estate business. So if he doesn't ever have anybody sell it to you, then you can never take advantage of it, and you're not going to grow. So it's a catch-22, and an entrepreneur and a business owner accepts it. They don't always have to buy it, but they can at least appreciate the opportunity and the offer, and they can appreciate what the individual that's making the offer is trying to do. In this particular case with iOS, we are not going to have a sales pitch, to my knowledge, this year. It's going to be a full-blown training. In the past, it's been a presentation on what's offered, what we do, what it entails, what the product is, so you can get enough information to make a decision about involving yourself in the iOS. Most of us already know, and if you don't already, your 5-star and your local group is going to teach you what iOS is. You can also learn about it in the back office or through corporate. There's a lot of ways to learn about iOS. iOS is a powerful tool. And RealFlow provides these tools to every real estate investing entrepreneur group in America, practically. They have the best data scraping knowledge out there, the best data scraping tools, and they put together the best systems and they sell them. And Bob's done an amazing job, our CEO and our home team, of putting together the greatest value that RealFlow can offer a big group. And so, the tools that we have and the system we have with iOS is bar none the best, definitely for the price. If you were to try to price this out, it would be far greater than $124 a month, based on what they offer us. So with that, in this case, at Nationals, we're going to get several different trainers that you saw last night on the webinar. If you didn't see that, get on the back office and watch the recorded webinar. But iOS is going to be training on how to use iOS and really take advantage of what's in there. It's in-depth software that I think can really enhance your business in real estate. Next, I do want you guys to know, it's pretty exciting, is they're going to have the 100K club, right? So if you've made a cumulative, not in 1 year, but cumulatively over $100,000 in your marketing efforts forever, how long you've been with the company, you'll be awarded a new lanyard that puts you in the 100K club. And then Bob is going to buy lunch on Saturday and have a 100K club luncheon. And I believe that the existing 100K club members are going to be invited to that as well. At least I think that's what happened last year. I was there last year. I was fortunate enough to be invited to that, and got the 100K lanyard and was able to go to the luncheon with the PAC members and everybody else, and it was just really exciting and a good time, and it was an honor, and so look forward to that. So that will be a milestone that you will hit and you will be rewarded with, as well as acknowledged for hitting that milestone. So that's another great reason to make sure you're at Nationals. Thursday night, they announced a big announcement last night. Every Thursday night prior to the we're only at 54, by the way, if you guys want to continue to invite some of your folks. And then we're going to dive into this, you guys. We're going to talk about real estate today and how it pertains to marketing. And I'm going to literally do a real estate mastermind. I'm going to coach you, teach a little bit about real estate, tell you a little bit about my real estate background, and you guys are going to be able to ask questions. So it's going to be, I think, awesome as soon as I get through this in the next couple of minutes. But Thursday night on National Night, it's going to be a cash recovery party, which is pretty badass. Typically, it's always a Thursday night epic done by one of the top income earners, Mitch or Scott or Michael, or a lot of times Bob. This year, they're going to bring in Mark Kohler and Christian George. They're going to do a CRP, a cash recovery party on Thursday night. It's going to be incredible for not only you, but your guests. So for you, it's going to be an opportunity for you to learn how to go and implement this CRP into your market or into your world on a night other than your epic night, as an extra exposure for your friends, family, and warm market. I think it's going to be amazing. So don't miss that Thursday night. Again, another reason you've got to get to Nationals. Nationals is it's just one of those things where, and I'm not going to remember what I thought about when I answered my question last night, but it's just one of those things that you do. And I'll tell you from experience that when money's tight and time is tight, getting off work is tight, getting away from family is tight, when money is tight, when travel is hard, when it's unfathomable on how to make that happen, it's all the better. When you go and you experience it and you're sacrificing and you're stressed out, that is the sweet sacrifice that we talk about that makes a big difference when you are taking this business to the next level and taking it more seriously, investing time that you don't have and money that you don't have and effort that you don't have, because everything else has to sacrifice over that 3 or 4 day period that you're gone. So it is an amazing opportunity for you to experience that. So whatever it takes, I recommend you get there. All right, enough of that. With that, you guys, lastly, we have, I'm pretty excited. We have 2 more days to get in on the drive contest. If you happen to be paying attention to that, you never know. We don't really know where anybody's at financially all the time. And so that top 10 is anybody's game. You could have 2, 3, 4 orders in the next 2 or 3 days by the end of tomorrow night, I guess. By the end of Thursday night at 12 o'clock. So, you've got 3 full days to really take advantage of the contest, and anything can happen. So, at the very least, I said this in the very beginning, even if you just decided that, you know what, you're going to do your best effort, you're going to double, triple, quadruple your efforts for the next 3 days, and you end up with an essential sale, is that better than where you were if you didn't try to engage in the competition and the contest? No, you're better off. So, maybe you take a look at what you've done over the last couple of months and add a little bit more to it, and take a day off of work and put it all into your business for the next day, whatever it is. But regardless of that, whatever you choose to do with your business in this contest, we do have 3 more days till midnight on Thursday night to place an order that is not only order placed, but signatures need to be signed that night, and legible signatures, of course, in the back office. They'll need to log in, and then, of course, it needs to be funded. And what that means is that, a credit card would need to go in. I highly doubt that if you put in an order with I don't know this for a fact, but if you're putting in an order at midnight on Thursday and they're sending in a cashier's check, I'm guessing it's not going to count, but don't quote me on that. It needs to be funded, not paid to you, but funded in the system by the end of the month, which would be midnight on the 28th. All right, so that's my announcements, or whatever, just things I wanted to cover that I think are pertinent. You like my shirt? Thank you, my friend. I love it too. I just got this weekend at the Vegan Festival. It's hilarious. My wife got it for me. So go vegan, do it for the chicks. I always used to say chicks dig me when I was a young, immature boy. So anyway, that's why my wife got it for me. Yeah, I love the comments, you guys. Bring it on if you've got questions on real estate. So here's what we're going to talk about. A little bit about real estate, right? And a little bit about how real estate pertains to marketing. I'm going to tell you, number one is I'm going to be all over the place. So here's the thing. I'm going to go over a few things with real estate today. I always have like topics or whatever that I can talk about when it comes to real estate. I can talk all day. However, if you've got questions on real estate, then bring them on, and then I'll go in that direction, and then someone else might ask a question, or we'll go back into my topic or whatever. But here's the thing I want to talk about when it comes to marketing is that I put out my number, and I forgot to do it earlier, so I'm going to do it right now, 760-533-314. And I believe that most of your leaders across the country, most of your partners across the country in Renatus, we give out each other's numbers. Naturally, you guys all understand that we are about abundance. And so, you know, in my group here, whether it's the Phoenix group or our Scottsdale Renatus group, everybody's got my number, and people call me all the time about real estate. I walk properties with people that are buying them when I have nothing to do with them. I turn over every resource I have for real estate, whether it's a skilled trade, a general contractor, a hard money lender, a realtor, things like that. I offer up those opportunities for people to meet those folks and work with those folks when they ask me. It's a constant mindset of abundance, of sharing, of helping and expediting the process for somebody, right? You're going to have plenty of education in order to figure out how to do this on your own. But everybody in the book, every guru out there teaches you to do this on your own. You know, if you've been in a hole in the wall, a hole in the ground, you know, your whole life when it comes to real estate, and now you're getting into real estate, you're going to have to join a RIA, right? You're going to have to join your local RIA. You're going to have to get an attorney. You're going to have to get a title company. You're going to have to get a hard money lender. You're going to have to build your team. You're going to have to build your network. And so you go to networking events and all those things, and that's great. It can be done, but it's a longer trial and error process, right? And not that there's not trial and error with recommendations, but at least you're on a faster path. And so with Renatus, with their local communities, you guys, we literally offer the opportunity where people's past experiences allow you to expedite your business of real estate. You know, if people need to do an escrow or a title and they ask me about it, they're referred to Rhonda, and Rhonda will take care of them. I have been working with Rhonda since 2009, and I've never gone anywhere else. There are fantastic title people. Everybody loves title people. Everybody has their own favorite. Everybody has someone they work with, and I get it. But when you're brand new, you don't know that. And I know for a fact that nobody knows anything more than Rhonda. Nobody can do any different transactions than Rhonda can. Nobody can do anything, walk the gray line that Rhonda walks. Nobody will protect you like Rhonda does. And I know this, and I can say that with confidence and with guarantees, right? And so I refer that person and my title girls. The same thing with a lot of my folks in the business, whether it's an attorney, right? I've been in many lawsuits, without a doubt, on both ends of the stick when it comes to real estate. And prior to real estate, I was never in lawsuits, right? But I have used multiple attorneys, not just Mark and Matt. Matt has litigated for me on 2 separate occasions. And of course, I'm going to recommend Matt. But Matt doesn't do litigation anymore. So now they have a new team member here in Phoenix, and they have to be licensed in your state. So that, KKOS is licensed in, I think, Cali, Idaho, Utah, and Arizona. But if you live in another state, I don't believe they're licensed there. They're not going to be able to practice there. You're going to have to get your own attorney. So, I've gone to networking events where I have met some attorneys, and I work with a firm, a national firm with some really good real estate attorneys as well. But they're $450 an hour, but it's worth it. I'm going to get into a little bit of training in a minute, but what I'm getting at is that, if you think about it, a lot of people that you're going to invite to this meeting and to the opportunity with Renatus, they are going to come from a place where the perception of real estate investing is secrecy. The perception of real estate investing is lack of deals. It's lack of money, and really, people work hard, in all aspects of life, but in real estate, there's so much risk and it takes so much time to develop a real estate business, relatively speaking. And it takes a lot of time to get your first deal done. It takes a lot of time for you to network and find people that you gel with and that are willing to help you. And so if you imagine you as a human, in human nature and naturally, you're out in the world and you finally make it and you finally do some things and you didn't have help with your family or your friends, you didn't have a mentor and you did it on your own, whatever, right? Why would you share it with somebody? That's not what was taught to you. So naturally out there in the world, it's not about sharing when it comes to real estate, and then people start to get asked all the time, can you help me? And they're bothered by it. And then they see an opportunity and they start to create real estate investing education of their own. And then they sell their information. And we're a capitalist society, so be it. Great, sell it. Whether they're an expert or not, whether they're telling them the right things or not, they're just sharing their experiences and what they know, whether it's right or legal, whether it's changed or not, and the laws, that's up to you as the buyer of their proprietary product to decide. You have to figure that on your own. Renatus, understand, creates a business that is completely different and breaks the mold when it comes to freaking real estate investing education. And what I mean by this is by having a marketing team, by having the opportunity to share the information and get paid to do so, it creates naturally a organic environment of real estate investors that are also business owners that are looking to change their lives and the lives of others by sharing this information. And so because Bob is so abundant and because Bob and his team, his home team, and the people he surrounds himself with are about abundance, they're about sharing, they're about caring, and they're about giving back and things like that, it trickles all the way down to every local community and through every local leader. And I think that most leaders that stay in the business long enough with Bob and Renatus, the ones that don't have that mindset, they may do well in the marketing for a while and they fade out. They don't fit in. But the rest of us, it creates an environment where it's the opposite of what's out there. And whether someone's new to real estate or they've been around, they're going to recognize it. They're going to recognize the feeling of abundance. They're going to recognize the feeling of sharing. And they're going to see that we do things a little differently. So, on in every aspect of when it comes to the events that we host from our intensives, right? If you think about it, for $40 or $50 or $20 or whatever it is, or free, we have an intensive every month rather, in some states and some cities that allows us to experience one of our real estate investing trainers, right? One of our educators, one of our trainers, one of our practicing instructors comes into town and does this event. And, the leadership pays for it to happen, and not the corporation, but the leadership pays for it to happen. And then your guest gets to experience some hands-on training. And it's one of 30 plus instructors. It's one of, 61 classes and so on. And so it's just a taste, but they see the results of that event. And it's a mastermind in itself. They get to ask questions. They get to, engage in conversation and meet the instructor and so on and so forth, and the other investors in the meeting. Now, that can happen anywhere, right? So that's not different. But what's different is it carries on. It doesn't just happen and then it's over, right? There's events to follow. We BAM fam, we build for other events, right? Then they can come to a property tour. At our property tours, there's an opportunity for them to not only learn about the numbers on that particular deal and how the money was raised and how the community supported the deal and the deal came together because of the community or whatever it is, but it's an opportunity for them to engage in some questions they might have. Did you pull permits? What's your strategy for this? How do you ask somebody for money? Whatever it is, they have an opportunity to sit down and ask a professional or someone who's actually doing it what their thoughts are. Even if these people are doing it themselves, they can contradict what they're doing, or they can, share their experience by asking questions and seeing if you have the answers and see if you know as much as they do. Whatever the case is, it's an experience they can't necessarily experience in most other places, right? I mean, especially in the guru world and our competition and the people that are offering education, they don't have the same opportunity all the time for people to engage in actual real estate processes. So like a call like this, we're going to get into the training and I'm going to keep going. But these are the concepts that we got to think about when you're talking to your guests. Sharing these stories with people about the real estate and what we offer in real estate will absolutely create intrigue for them to come see what we do. Now, I've been investing for since 2008. This will be my 12th year. And I've done, approximately 135 different transactions. I don't know that there's a transaction I haven't done as far as a real estate acquisition and or sales strategy, including notes, including tax liens I've done in Florida. I mean, I don't know that there's much that I haven't done. Now, there's many strategies I haven't done a lot of. In fact, I've only done one commercial property, right? With all of that came from the education. And, I think the least amount of money that I've made in 1 year from real estate transactions might be about 150 grand. And, I think that's probably the least. I'd have to go back and look at it. Don't quote me on it. And, that's the least, right? And so if you add that up over the number of years, that's net to me. That's not shared with my investors. So if you add that, times that by 11 plus, and that's the least amount I made, right? So there's been a significant amount of money made over the last 10 years in my real estate investing career. And I'm here to share with you guys on any time. I do a team call that I do on Tuesday night with my team. We talk real estate and business. I do a real estate mastermind with our group here in Scottsdale every other week before the IMA training. And I'm not just saying me. There are study groups happening all over where people are sharing their experiences. Now, those study groups aren't a training. They're not teaching real estate. I'm not teaching a class. We don't do the study groups necessarily the same way everybody else does it. But when those study groups happen, another way for you to create intrigue for your guests through these study groups, it is where you're not only learning the education, but you're also being able to mastermind around it. You're about to talk about the education. It's not somebody up in front of the room teaching the class after they've watched it and regurgitating what it was. But it's the concept is that you are discussing the material you learned so you can understand it from other people's perspectives. You can talk to them about it. You can ask questions about it, and then you can learn to implement it as whatever you're learning by what other people are doing as far as implementing that education. When you tell people that you have that opportunity, that those types of things go on in our world, and that's a part of it, that's very, very, very intriguing. It's very, very, very positive. And it is a bonus that people get when they enroll in the education, right? When they get to surround themselves with people that have done deals and meet with them on a monthly, weekly basis all the time, not just me, but many of you, you heard that investing story last night. That guy and his wife have 59 doors. And his community and people, they get to hang out with that guy and see him on a weekly basis and pick his brain or talk to him. And it's not the guru flying in for 3 days or for 5 days, or when you're in your first deal and then someone comes out and lands down there and works with you for 3 days on getting your first deal under contract or placing several offers or whatever it is, the boots on the ground programs. Now, there's nothing wrong with those programs, but you're talking about one guy who really is not vested. I mean, he is because he's getting paid, or she is, and they really want to see you succeed, and you're paying, in these other programs. But that's it. I mean, that's a job for them for the weekend. This is not a job. It's not a job for me to take one of your calls, your Facebook posts, for me to walk a property, for me to tell you how I comp property, for me to tell you how I analyze a deal, make a deal happen, tell you what it is that how I pay a contractor. You know, these are things that are not my job, right? These are things that we just do. And when I say me, I mean everybody in our family across the country that helps other people in the experiences that they did. Eventually, you will do one deal or 10 or 5 or 20 or whatever you've already done, and you will share your information. Hopefully, you're doing it, you know, ethically, and you're doing it without being a matter of fact, because, you know, you want to get some experience behind you when you're sharing it, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying is, you know, you don't want to say this is the way to do it and you only did it once and it just happened to work out, if that makes sense. But my point is, you're giving people a perspective, right? You're sharing your information. And so there's thousands of us across the country that are able to help your guests, once they get started with Renatus, to experience real estate from other people's experiences, to be able to learn and engage in conversation with experienced real estate investors. It's a privilege and an honor and a resource that you can't get anywhere else, right? So one of the things I want to share with you guys today, and I think I've done this before, but there's a lot of new people, welcome to the call, is on an overview. I want you to be able to take this, in my opinion, somewhere when you're having conversations with your prospects for real estate investing, education, and the opportunity with Renatus. People ask me all the time, what do you think of this deal? Okay. And I'll get back to some of the concepts of marketing this, but if you have questions or whatever, just shoot them out there. But here's the deal. So understand this, in my opinion. Every freaking house is a deal. Every house on the MLS is a deal. Every house you bring to me is a deal. Everything's a deal. If what? If the number's right, right? If you can get the house on a certain set of terms or for a certain price, and it's worth a certain price or rents for a certain amount, it's a freaking deal. It's not because the deal isn't because it's distressed. The deal isn't because it needs work. The deal isn't because the seller's in foreclosure. The deal is the number, right? So whatever the situation is with the seller, if the house needs work and you get the price for the as-is house value of its as-is value, it's not a deal. You might be able to force appreciation by fixing the property, adding square footage, and creating a better product. And hopefully you've learned to do that at a lesser amount than you can resell it for. And there's enough margin to cover the whole deal, if that makes sense. I can get into that in more detail in here a second. But typically that's not the case. If you buy retail at any given point in the system on the transaction, whether it's retail as a piece of land, and you buy the land retail, and then you build the house and you build a spec, and then you hope that the market stays strong and that you were able to build it for $100 a foot and sell it for $200 a foot. And in that $100 a foot, there's enough to cover carrying costs, fix-up costs, sales costs, and miscellaneous costs, and give you a profit, then you could create a deal. You could force a deal. It's called forced appreciation, right? And so hopefully your calculations work. You can get it done in time so that you beat the market and you're still able to sell it for $100 per foot more than you built it for. And then perhaps you have a deal depending on how many square feet you built. But most of the time when you buy property, if you buy it retail, it isn't a deal. Now, if you can buy it retail and you can cash flow the property and you can walk into the property with equity and you don't come out of pocket very much money, or you put 20% down and it still makes sense, great. But why would you pay retail when you don't have to? If you have the credit and the 20% down and the house still cash flows and the property is in good shape and it doesn't cost a lot of work and it's in a good area and all these things add up, it's a deal, okay? But it's not a good deal. it's a deal that everybody can buy if you have money and credit, that you can get from a realtor who doesn't know their whole from, you know, whatever the heck the saying is. You can get it from a realtor who's just getting started. If you can walk into a rental property with your own credit, what is your opinion? I'm going to go right to here. What is your opinion when the next housing crash could be? I know no one for sure knows, but I am curious about what signals you have been seeing that might predict when it could happen. Okay. This is a fantastic question. Abhi, I hope I said your name, Abhi. Great question. So here's the deal. First of all, my opinion is the coolest thing about Renatus, and you can tell people this when you're marketing, is that I don't give a crap when the thing crashes. In fact, I can't wait, because you are going to learn how to do a deal no matter what the market's doing. Now, I know, not from my experience, but well, now I guess from my experience, but from Chris Wilson, what the market does in Arizona. Every 7.5 years, between 7 and 8 years, we have a market shift. It goes up and it comes back down, and it goes up over time. So up like this over time, but it goes like this as it goes up. It goes up and down over time, but ultimately all over time it goes up. And that's just a fact. Now, so in a 7.5 year period, we go up for 3 years and we crash and stay stagnant for 4.5 years, roughly, right? And so we go up, and we start to crash and crash all the way down. And then we stay down at the bottom for a half a year or a year, and then we start going up again. And that's the 7.5 year turn that most of the West Coast experiences. Nevada, California, Arizona follows California by about 12 to 18 months. If the boom was in 2004 in California, it was 2005, late 2005 in Arizona. And so I know that we are due for what you would call a crash. And a crash may be a harsh term. It's a downslide. It's a downturn. It's a downturn in the market. It's a shift in the market. You know, it's a little bit. It's not a crash. What we had was a recession, right? And the recession set the whole country back. It was a I don't know, a depression, a real estate depression. It was a major crash. And so that was a 10-year period, if you think about it. And so for about 8 years, it changed the cycle of the normal cycle. We receded so far that we couldn't even get back up to the point where we start to go back up from that 3.5 year up. So if you look at 15 to 18, we've gone on that 3.5 year up, right? So 15 to 18, three year up, right? From 2008 to 2015, it was a full crash. It was such a recession. We went below the line. We receded another 40 or 50%. A crash in most markets, you guys, is 20, 30%, right? So if you take a market like Arizona, the average house is $250,000 and you crash 30%, that's a freaking $75,000 discount. And then you're taught how to get a discount on as is value, which means you're already at 75 cents on the dollar. I mean, you have a $75,000 discount, and then you get another 30% discount from that value. You know, you're buying a house that should be worth $250. You're buying it for maybe $150, an extra 25, got $100,000 off. And then you fix it up, and now it's only worth 200, but you wait another 2 years and now it's back up to 250 with just because of appreciation, not because of the fact that you bought it correctly, if that makes sense. So I think the crash is the next downturn that we're going to see is going to be in the next 12 to 18 months to 2 years max. And it absolutely, talk to Chris Wilson, send him a Facebook message, get a hold of him. But here's the deal. I absolutely think that that in 2020, you're going to see a difference. I think 2019 is going to be a strong year. I think the spring of 2020 will be strong as well. But people are going to start to take notice of the election. And no matter who gets elected, people are going to wait and it's going to hit the fan. And so I don't care which party wins, what it looks like. People are going to wait. They're going to hold off. They're going to be scared. The media is going to blow it up and everybody's going to react to it. And we're going to see a slide in 2020. And that is all the time for you guys, in my opinion, I got more questions coming up. I'm going to get to them here. Watch this. So that is why you've heard me say a million times, do the marketing now, get your lines of credit now, get your HELOCs now. The banks are lending. The economy's strong. The banks are wanting to give. Watch your classes, fix your credit, tell your folks to do the same. Start getting equity on your property, buy a property if you can, and with equity, and then take out a home equity line of credit on it, or forget all that and just market the crap out of the education, because people can buy the education because they can get lines of credit to do it, and then save that money and get ready for the crash. And then you can buy real estate at a discount with your own money and your own credit, as well as your own education. And then you can use other people's money and credit. And then you can buy a bunch of real estate, and then you can sell it off when the market goes back up again. And you can own half your portfolio outright because you bought the property and sold half of it during the height when it goes back up in 7 to 10 years from now. Okay? That's your plan. I'm telling you. And I wish I would have had that plan, and I didn't. I didn't have that insight. No one told me that, and I didn't figure it out on my own. And I thought about it, but I was so involved in making money, and I was so broke, and I needed to make money during the crash. All I did was flip houses. Okay, so that's my idea, the crash, and what I think it's going to do. And here's the thing. It's coming. I don't care if it's in 6 months, in 12 months, or 18 months. It has gone up and down as long as we've been studying real estate for the last 50 plus years with the National Association of Realtors. You talk to Chris Wilson, you watch his predictions, you watch his stuff on Facebook. He's a genius, and he's just one of many that does a market analysis, and it's inevitable that the market will slide, just like all markets will slide. And you want to be in a position to have the education in short sales, auctions, REOs, and those type of acquisitions, which we don't do much right now of. You'll have an abundance of them in the future, and that's how you acquire. But you're going to need somebody's cash to take over those properties. You're going to need money to get those things done in that acquisition strategy. There will be some other strategies you can use during that crash, a lot of subject to possibly, but anyway, we'll get to that later. So with this, where do I get the record of this? The recording, I believe, is on the Renatus Salt Lake City Facebook page, and Ron Heyer will have that up here in the next 24 hours or less, usually by the end of the day. Thank you for the awesome training. I was hoping for all the new people you could put on a whiteboard who all the people they should have on their team since they are getting started. Okay, Robbie, hold on. Thank you for the awesome training. I was hoping for all the new people you could put on a whiteboard who all the people they should have on their team. Oh, I get it. Put it on a whiteboard. Yeah, I think I can do that. Share whiteboard. All right. Hopefully this works. Let's see. Text. I guess I'll type it. Okay, so the first thing you need is a realtor. All right. With a realtor, you guys, this is what I do. How much time? We got 6 minutes. Good. We're gonna get through this. I think that someone with experience you should invite your realtor to a meeting and a coffee or whatever, and then you should have someone with experience. And this is what you're looking for. I like 2 different types of realtors. In my opinion, your realtor, they should own their own property and they should own rental property. Okay, this is realtor number 1. If they don't work with investors and they don't own property, then I wouldn't work with them unless it's realtor number 2, which I'm going to get to. So own property. Now this realtor probably has some experience in working with investors, but you're going to be placing offers at a discount, and it's not a low ball offer. It is a calculated, mitigated risk offer. It is one that is going to create a fair profit for an investor. Okay? And so if they don't understand that, you're going to explain it to them. And if they're giving you signals that say, that doesn't seem right, doesn't seem fair, why would anybody take that offer? and you're explaining what you're going to be doing, then next you need to move on. Now, my favorite realtor is realtor number 2. Realtor number 2 is new. Okay. And with this realtor, they are young maybe, or young at heart, and they're looking for business. All right. And they don't know any better. And they're willing to do whatever it takes. And they're going to understand. Now, here's the thing. Whoever your realtor is, you guys, be upfront and explain to them that they literally, and remind me at the end, I'm going to tell you why this training is not a real estate training, but this is a marketing training. And this is going to be powerful for you for this week, in my opinion, this month coming up. Use this information. Now watch. A realtor, it's got to be upfront, you guys. I'm a wholesaler. I may have cash. I have access to cash, but I don't have it right now, and I'm going to try to wholesale this property. Be upfront with people, right? Be transparent and clear on your message, what your possibility is. If you're working with me and you're like, listen, I tell my team, like, if I find the right deal and you help me find the right deal, you're going to get paid on the front end and you're going to get it on the back end when we list it. The cool thing is I may not have the cash myself right now because I'm just getting started, but my buddy Bill has done over 100 of these things. And if the deal's right, he's going to partner with me or buy it from me or flip it himself or whatever, or I'm going to flip it with him and it's going to be awesome. And so I have a legitimate way to buy this property. But in my main priority is going to be able to wholesale this property, in which case you still get paid. So you're going to be transparent with your realtor up front. Number 2 is, you want to explain to them what it is you're going to do. I can't interview. It's a whole nother training, but I interview my realtor sometimes for 2 hours when I work with new students that have new realtors. And the realtor is key. Realtors will help you comp property, right? And I'm going to get to that. So you need an attorney, but I don't think you need an attorney right now. In my opinion, we have the attorney you need. Just because they're not licensed in your state, you can get with Mark and Matt and their team, and they can answer most of your questions via email or phone conversation. And then if you need the attorney in your specific state to be licensed, they might be able to refer somebody to you, or someone in your group will refer you to a local realtor who's licensed in your state. I mean, a local lawyer who's licensed in your state to take on your case, right? But you don't need to go get a lawyer right now because you might get in a lawsuit in the future, right? You deal with that on a base-to-base, but what you need your lawyer for, what you need Mark, Kohler, and Matt for, is your structure, so that when a lawsuit does come down the pipe, you're already prepared. You want to be prepared legally, so you're safe, you're safeguarded against all that stuff, you're safeguarded against any liabilities, and you don't lose your stuff that you've created, your money and your equity and your assets and all that stuff. So you want to prepare sooner than later, and you want to pay for that. You want to get that upfront taken care of sooner than later. All right. Most importantly, you're going to need a title and escrow. Okay. Now, in other states, in judicial states on the East Coast and the Midwest, they don't have title and escrow. They have lawyers. They do all your title. Okay. Out here, we have both. We're judicial and we're non-judicial. And if you don't know these things, you got to study your education and understand them. Okay. We primarily in Arizona and the West, we do it non-judicial, which means we have title and escrow. We don't have lawyers that handle our title companies and our recordings and our closings. We have escrow companies. Escrow is third party. Some titles are escrow companies, but they're 2 different things. Title and escrow are 2 different. Learn about this in your title and escrow class. But you want a referral. You want a referral. I went out and found mine. Our group, when I started, didn't have referrals. They didn't have people like me. And I went out and found this person, and I found my title ground. But I'll tell you, when you find them, they're like gold. And you want someone with history. My girl's been doing it for 35 years. When I met her, she'd been doing it for 25 years. She had a team. She was a VP of one of the best firms out here. And she was referred, and we got along. And she's a nice older lady who just is awesome. And she cares about people. She's a mind of abundance. She's kind and patient. And that's what you need. You want a very good title company. If you're asking me if the title company should be aggressive and low, you're going to get discounts from anybody. It's not about the money with title and escrow. It's about being able to understand what you do for a living and why you get discounts, but then how you help people when you do it. Huge. All right, we're running out of time. Darn it. Great question, you guys. All right, title and escrow. You're also going to need trades. you're going to need a general contractor. There's no question. You know, I don't ever use, I shouldn't say ever, I don't use general contractors except for certain things, but I don't hire general contractors to run my jobs and then I go away. I'm owner builder. Learn this in your education or talk to me about it. But there's a difference. I do use general contractors to pull permits. There's a story behind that as well. But having a general contractor means that you get to understand trades. You get to understand what it would actually cost people and what it would cost you in the future if you actually used a general contractor versus doing it yourself. And then you're going to want all your subs. You're going to want your subcontractors. These are all your trades, your tile guys, trash out guys, demo guys. You're going to have cabinet guys, countertop guys. There's 18 to 20 trades that I use on a major project. Framers, carpenters. You're going to need painters. You're going to need doors, windows, and trim. You're going to need landscapers. You're going to need hardscape landscapers and then softscape landscapers. You're going to need roofers. You're going to need a finish guy, right? A handyman, electrician, plumber, HVAC, foundation, right? All of these subcontractors, you're going to need them on your team. You're also going to need investors, and we have that at Renatus. All right, we're running out of time. So here's what I'm going to do. This is your team that you want. You could break it down. Trying to think if there's really anybody else that I use on a regular basis. I mean, that's pretty much it that I can think of. I'll think of somebody in a minute. I hope that helped. I'm going to go back to the chat here. If I go back to oops, let's see. I think I can close that out. There we go. Okay. So awesome morning. Cool. I'm looking at some of this stuff. All right. Cool. I hope that helped, Robbie. I hope I answered you guys' questions. So sorry you guys got to go. I know it's time. So it's 9:02. So here's the deal. Here's what I want to tell you guys on the marketing side. We'll end with this is I feel you don't get this anywhere, right? Unless you pay for this personally to some coach in some other program and it's extensive. And a lot of times these guys aren't even doing what I do day in and day out. Like right now I have, I'd have to count them up. I don't know, half a dozen deals that I'm working on. I'm closing on a triplex here in the next hour. I've got several fix and flips going. I've just picked up $1 million fix and flip I'm going to do. I do this day in and day out, and I do it with Renatus on a regular basis. And you guys have access to me. You have access to other instructors. And we're on a national marketing business call, and we're talking about real estate, and we're talking about learning some things, and that this is something that is part of the support. At the bottom of Renatus, when we share the Renatus opportunity, we talk about the before and after. We talk about the organic, natural groups that we're a part of that are about abundance and mindset and sharing and caring. You hear that Michael say that all the time, right? And you don't get it anywhere else. And it's not something you have to pay for. It's not extra. It's inherent. And whether I go away or not, or and someone else comes in or whatever it is, and it's not just me. It's people all over the country that are like this. Bob Tierney, who does tons of real estate. I mean, the list goes on and on, right? Even your PAC members that do real estate and have been doing it, Mitch Nelson and Nate Lambert and John O'Neill, these guys are just amazing people, and they share their information with you on how to do real estate. And I know there's hundreds of you on this call that do real estate and share, and you guys get what I'm saying, is that this stuff, talking to experts, not experts, talking to people that have experience in real estate from the education that they're learning from, that the same people that you're selling this to are going to learn from and then have access to, that is priceless. You can't put a dollar figure on it. And it's something you can't get anywhere else. And we share that opportunity. And you can go around and you can tell people, I was on a national marketing training business call, mindset call, whatever you want to call it, mastermind. We were talking about real estate because of the opportunity that I'm involved in. And if they want, people talk to you all the time and they'll tell you, what is the one thing that's missing besides money in real estate? And it's not money, the mentorship. It's advice. It's someone holding their hand. It's people helping them out. And we have that here. on the before and after program that you don't even pay for. We have Gavin McCaleb, the most awesomest coach out there, on Tuesday nights and private coaching, 6 sessions. But to have individuals that are out there doing it every day, putting on your property tours and doing your masterminds and leading your study groups and stuff like that, to have that type of mentorship, that type of relationship with people that you are just getting to meet, priceless. And you talk to people about that and you create intrigue around that and you invite them down to see that side of the coin. That, in my opinion, is what will truly separate us and will help you make more sales. I make a lot of sales and I change people's lives, and I have the team that I have, and I'm grateful for that team because of the opportunity that Renatus has created for the person to become a real estate investor and have people by their side that have done what they want to do in real estate and will share with them, including myself. All right, folks. Awesome. I'm going to do this more next 2 weeks, training a little bit more on real estate and how we can share this information with our guests on a marketing side. It's how real estate sells combos. And I promise you it does. And you can share this information and you spent time with someone like mine, with my experience in the morning for free. And you can learn about how I vet a realtor or how I do a deal and what I believe about the market, whatever it is. And I'm going to spend more time training next time, the next 2 sessions as well, on actual real estate, so you can talk about some of the things that I think you just can't get anywhere else. So with that, everybody, thanks again. My number is 760-533-3141. I went over. I apologize. Melissa, Abdi, you're very welcome. Michael, super awesome, everybody. Thanks, Alex. Cool. Way to go, everybody. You guys are awesome for being on this call. Thank you for the opportunity for me to share this information with you guys. I really appreciate it. And I'm grateful and I'm honored to be on this call. If you need me for anything, you know how to get a hold of me, and make it a great week. Finish the month off strong. And I'll see you all in Nationals. Thanks, everybody. Peace out.
Thanks.
Have a good day.